Let me ask you a question. Does your brand name really matter? Is there much significance to what I name my brand or my product? Will choosing the right brand name have any effect on the future of my brand or my product? Well, the answer to each of these questions is a definitive yes. The brand and product names matter. Choosing the right brand name for your product or your company could have a significant impact on your future and your ability to scale the business. Why, you ask? Because the brand name you choose will create the initial impression and ongoing association of your brand for your customer. Every time your customer sees your brand, they will make both verbal and nonverbal associations to the quality, positioning, and perception of your brand. These perceptions will happen almost instantaneously as they perceive what your brand or your product means to them. The brand colors, font type, images, icons, and messaging will all make an impression on your customer. Your goal is to communicate these impressions effectively and consistently so your customer relates to your brand or product how you want them to, and to do that each time your brand is represented. Well, hi, I'm Eric, and welcome to the 6th episode of The Product Talk. In this channel, I take you through my journey of developing brands and products for consumer products companies, so you can learn from my wins and my losses when things did not go as expected. Well, let me tell you the story of Great Stuff and how this ingenious brand name powered to the top of this new and emerging polyurethane foam category. Polyurethane foam was a relatively new technology in the 1990s in the consumer market. It was often referred to as expanding foam for home insulation. If you're in a cold weather market, then you're likely familiar with Great Stuff as an expanding foam. It's sprayed out of an aerosol can, and initially the consistency looks like whipped cream. This expanding foam pulls the moisture from the air in order to cure, something we call a moisture-cured product. And as it cures, it expands, and it turns into an insulating sealant and hardens in place over a few hours. When people see this product expand, as it fills in gaps and cracks, blocking out air, they often say, "Hey, now that's great stuff." Without even realizing it, they are confirming the power of this brand name in action. There's a buzz in the air when they watch this product expand and cure right in front of them. They can't help but repeat the brand name, as it captures the very essence of what they're experiencing with the product right at that time. When I was the director of marketing for Great Stuff, I was given the task of driving consumer demand for this product. It was highly seasonal, as when the weather changed from summer to fall and the cool air began to arrive, sales expanded. Sorry about that. I couldn't help but resist that one. Anyway, if you lived in the Northwest, Midwest, or Northeast, you likely know this product as well as WD-40, Elmer's Glue, or any other mainstream consumer product, at least if you're a homeowner. When you have a draft from a pipe entering an outside wall, or if there's a gap around your electrical outlet on an outside wall or window, you seal it up and block the cold air draft out with Great Stuff. Well, in order to drive consumer demand, I hired an ad agency, and we put together the first commercial for Great Stuff, which ended up being the first TV commercial for this product category. There's a funny story on this one. I went to Hollywood with our ad agency, and we chose a director and a production company to produce the commercial. In fact, it was on the back lot of Warner Brothers, from what I remember. In this commercial, we showed spraying the product in various electrical outlets along an outside wall, around a hose bib where that comes through the wall with the garden hose, and around windows and doors. Well, at the end of the commercial, The middle-aged contractor who was applying the product was bent over, and he was wearing jeans, and he had a bit of a, well, we'll call it a plumber's crack, and it was showing right below his t-shirt. So what happened is the contractor asked, "Do you see any cracks that I missed?" And then the homeowner lady looks down at this plumber's crack, and she states straight-faced. In fact, it was some lady from Saturday Night Live who became more popular after that. That time, she really wasn't well known. Then she got signed up by Saturday Night Live, so became famous. She'd been much more expensive to do a future commercial. Anyway, she says straight-faced, "Well, how many cans did you bring?" And that's how we ended the commercial. The director thought it was absolutely hilarious. I thought it was funny, but I was a little concerned as I worked for a very conservative company, and I wasn't sure how they were going to take it. But I decided to go with it because it did seem to make the commercial much more memorable. If you can have some humor at the end, it just helps to remember the commercial. Well, when I arrived back in Atlanta at the corporate headquarters, I showed the commercial to 3 people, all at one time. The CEO, the president, who was my boss, and the CFO. Well, I was hoping to get a laugh from them at the end of the commercial. But instead, it was dead quiet. And all eyes were on the CEO, who had a kind of a funny, pondering look, like, is this funny or not funny? Am I concerned? I think he was wondering, is it going to fit the brand? I guess that's an appropriate question. Well, I'm thinking, uh-oh, I just moved my family all the way across the country for this job. I was relatively new in it, just a few months. And I hope I'm not about to lose it. Well, anyway, they were a bit reluctant, but they decided to show the commercial to their friends and family to get a read on it, which seemed reasonable to me. I was thinking I was going to have to do a focus group or something like that, but I went with it. Well, lucky for me, most people found the commercial very funny, and it turned out to be a really big hit. Outside of a few old ladies that called in and complained because they didn't like the idea of a plumber's crack being shown on TV, everybody else pretty much thought it was funny, or at least didn't say anything. Well, the next thing we did is we made a media buy with the Weather Channel, the Do-It-Yourself Network, a couple other homeowners channels, and some mainstream networks. And we did it right in the fall, and it was going to be triggered by the weather. Well, this is one of the first times from a media standpoint, at least in this category, that was done. So when the first blast of cold air came, that's what was going to trigger the media buy. Well, the commercial was a success, and it drove homeowners into the Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Ace Hardware, True Value, and other stores. Another feature of the product was it would block out ants and insects from coming into your home. We then expanded the category, which at the time included Great Stuff as a minimal expanding foam, and Foam Plus, which was a triple expanding foam. From there, we expanded into a window and door foam specifically for that application, since that was our primary use of the product. And we really needed to control the expansion to not move the window or door frame out of place. The next thing that happened was interesting. DAP came out with a water-based latex foam. And that was smart for a couple of reasons. They weren't in that particular category, but they were there in general in sealants. So we came out with our own water-based latex foam to compete with that one and make sure that we held on to the primary share, which we did. This is what the Great Stuff product looks like today. So let's do a quick product review on Great Stuff. Product reviews are now going to be a regular feature in most of the Product Talk episodes. We'll grab one of the products that we're talking about, and we'll do a quick product review to say the pros and cons of what we did right and the challenges with the product. So the pros for Great Stuff. First of all, it had a great brand name. And it had an engaging and descriptive logo. If you look at that logo closely, you'll actually see foam in the logo. I think it's on the U's from what I remember, but it is part of the font of the actual logo. That was brilliant. One thing I want to clarify, I did not name the product, and I did not come up with the logo. I came in after that and then did all the other marketing work. All right, number 3. It had distinguished brand colors. The red can, the yellow cap, the black fonts, made it a very identifiable consumer package. You could see that from 100 feet away at a Home Depot store. Next, the package itself was very descriptive, and it had the application uses right on the package. That's important because you're giving the consumer the idea where to use the product and additional potential uses, which helps close the sale. Next, the product delivered on the brand promise, which was to fill gaps and cracks as an expanding foam. It worked, and it did it every time. That was important. Another pro was that it was a minimal expanding foam, so it would not overpower applications and create issues. Sometimes on the triple expanding foams, if they put in too much, it might move a window or door frame. And that was another feature, though it was hard to explain the expansion difference, but there was a big push of why to use Great Stuff. Okay, what were the cons for Great Stuff? Well, the product itself, using these isocyanate chemicals, was actually a one-time use product. And you had to use it within a few hours, or the nozzle basically would cure and you couldn't use the product. People tried different things, put foil on top, and I just don't think much of that worked. I think later, Dow Chemical came out with other products to help solve that and be able to remove it, or to keep a nozzle-type mechanism so it would last longer and not cure. But that was an issue. The second thing was, this stuff was like glue once it cured, and it was really hard to remove from your hands. Another con was that the chemicals used were isocyanate, and they should not be exposed to skin. In fact, some people could have a sensitivity to it. I think we included these thin little gloves that you would, like plastic gloves that came in the cap, from what I recall, so that you wouldn't get it on your hands. All right, those were the cons. Let's do a summary of the marketing concepts like we do at the end of each episode now, so that we see what the key learnings are. First of all, your brand name and product name matters. So a strong brand name that describes a product helps to establish its presence in a category, especially in a new category like this. The next thing is that the use cases of the product were right on the package, and that's just an important element of any consumer product. You want to either use images, icons, messaging, or a combination of those things to quickly, visually communicate your features and benefits to the consumer. Next, first to market, done well, has the early advantage establishing the primary brand in the category. So remember, there's two strategies here, and they're both valid strategies. The first is the first to market. The second is fast follower. So when we look at like the DAP product, when they came out with a water-based latex foam, they solved a problem with not using these chemicals that, were pretty harsh. And they came up with a water-based product. So they created kind of a new subcategory within the primary category and niched it down, and that was a really good strategy. And I guess that's kind of the next point. Seasonal categories can really drive demand to the stores, but you have one shot to get it right. You better be on time and ready to go from a supply chain standpoint, from distribution, your commercials, all your promotion. TV commercials and other media done effectively can increase awareness and drive demand regionally or nationally. All right, the next thing is cross-merchandising Great Stuff into different departments within the same store, like a Home Depot or Lowe's, really help to increase its sales. Next, the clear and descriptive product name helped the brand to grow as awareness increased. Okay, well, that kind of finishes up the marketing summary there. Please proceed to episode 7 and continue on our journey of developing successful new products and brands. My hope is that you'll be more successful by spending the time to watch each episode as they're released in succession and the concepts build upon each other. Be sure to like and subscribe so it helps others to find this content. And be sure to hit the notifications button so you're notified for the next episode. If you want to share our channel with other marketers, you can find the Product Talk channel by going to youtube.com and then searching with the /@theproducttalk, and that'll get you right to the channel. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode.